And we are back on the Sweat It Out podcast.
Woo!
Woo! And today we got a really cool and special guest. We got a special buddy of mine over here. We got Reese Whitely. What's up, brother?
How you doing, buddy? You said it right.
Woo!
Yeah, he was and you can tell he was practicing the side. He hesitated a little bit. But he made it through it.
That's
So
good, man.
we'll give him the
I'll
credit.
make sure I'm on point.
We'll give him the credit.
Good
Thanks for
job,
coming in,
bro.
man. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. How you been?
Blessed, bro. Blessed. Working hard. Building, you know.
No, I could tell you're building because you've been putting some work on that new business of yours.
Yeah, dude. Thank you. It's been a lot of hard work, but everything pays off. Do something 1% better every day, and you're good.
That's right. How long has it taken you to actually put into work or put into effect?
So I guess the process in total took about 1.5 years.
Okay.
Because I drafted out the framework of what I wanted it to be, then put a whole deck together, then brought in the branding, all that stuff, and I finally launched it actually when COVID shut the city down.
We should probably tell everyone what we're talking about, by the way.
I have a media company. No, not.
Yeah, I'm an influencer on Instagram. You can find me.
Yeah, right?
I'm selling fit tees and waist trainers.
Not a bad industry. I'm kidding.
Listen, as long as it's a pyramid scheme and you're on the top, you know.
Oh, you're always winning.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You're always winning.
Listen, just buy 40 grand of my product, all right? And then get 5 of your friends to buy 40 grand of my product, and we'll all win together.
I think he's been a part of a pyramid scheme before.
And then recruit
for
friends
sure.
for me.
I've been trying to
Recruit
hustle
new
some
people.
people into pyramid schemes for years, dude. Years.
Yeah, that's great. I like him a lot, man.
This is the man.
I see that. I see it. Syracuse is finest, you know?
Listen, it's cold up there, so all you have to do inside is drink, eat, and shit on everyone else.
Oh,
You know?
that's
So
a quote. Put it
and
on
I-
a shirt.
I'm white as fuck, but I grew up in an Italian family, so, you know, it's eat or get eaten.
I like that.
He's just mad because I was born here and been here my whole life.
Oh, my God. Here we go again.
This is great. Man.
So what's up, man? I know you. I've known part of your story, but I definitely want to share that with the users and the listeners on here. So let's take it back.
Wait, can we tell? What
I do?
Yeah, what business did you start? I don't want to leave them. I don't want to leave
That's
them
why we're
hanging.
getting to that.
I don't want to leave them hanging. I think
So,
I'm.
all right, so because Josh really wants you to say it right now. What business are you doing?
Josh is like
Well, you
straight to
can't.
the
You
point.
can't tease the people. You know.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean,
Well,
I
that's the
think I'm the
point.
only one in this room that's super high right now, and yet I
Shit,
think
I
I'm
don't-
the I'm the
I
one.
don't even think Josh knows what business you're in.
You're like, who's this guy again? I guess so. In some, I own a sports medicine business in South Miami, Florida. So we do physical therapy, exercise physiology, and now we're getting into the expansion portion, which would consist of like the full wellness scale. Cool.
Love it.
All right, perfect. Sorry to interrupt you, Anthony.
Now go ahead.
Josh just gets a little salty, but okay.
Every
So-
day, dude.
So going back,
Yeah.
let's go back. I wanna hear about what made you want to get into this field that you're in. What made you want to explore it, and what was that spark or that transition in your life that made you realize that this was your path?
I guess, I started on Instagram marketing just as a model. No, I'm kidding.
I was waiting for it.
Shit.
There
I
was
was
a
waiting
point
for
in
it.
time. No, but I went to school for biology. I was applying to PT school. I played basketball. Went to Dominican Republic, came back over, and actually I didn't even apply to my master's or doctorate program after that. I decided to go into business, so I went and worked for Enterprise, like everybody does when they get out of college, I guess.
You're from Miami. I feel like everyone from Miami works for Enterprise.
No, I'm from Jamaica originally. But that sounds better. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, bro.
No problem.
But yeah, so I worked at Enterprise for about 7 months. I scaled up, was a manager, and then I decided that 9 to 5 or beyond in that realm wasn't for me. So I stepped out and I quit. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate you.
Is that where you guys met? Both working at Enterprise?
Oh, wow. We met in Syracuse, New York, actually. No, but after, this guy's great. After that, I just sat down. I talked to a couple mentors, and they're like, yo, look, you did biology, and I think that you should either go into the med school program or physical therapy or something of that manner. After sitting down, I realized I'd rather do the physical therapy or the sports medicine aspect. Applied to school, got an FIU, pause up, Miami, Florida, stand up. And from there, I ended up in the lane I'm in right now. So I think as I kept going through it, it kept expanding, and I started seeing different avenues to which I could take to keep on growing. I don't think that I was going to be treating somebody for 40 years. You know, I always wanted to push myself to the next level, and see where that happened. And now I opened up a spot, and it's been great.
That's awesome. So, Josh, are you going to say something professional right now?
Not at all.
I'll build up to it. I'll build up to it. Nah, honestly, you know, I've been following you for a while on social media, and the stuff that you put out is great and super informative. And I think we need a lot more of that. You know,
Right.
It's a lot of flash right now in the industry in general. And there needs to be a lot more substance, right? So,
Right.
you know, as someone who has really invested my own time and my own resources into, you know, learning about the craft of exercise science and recovery and strength training and all that stuff, you know, it's great, and it's really refreshing to see, you know, someone else who also invested a ton of time and a ton of their own resources into learning, you know, relatively the same thing. I was on the strength and conditioning side more, you're on the sports medicine side. So, but it's great, you know, to see that there are like-minded people who are trying to push the field forward, you know, because ideally that's what we all want.
Right. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you.
So how did you get started specifically in sports medicine? Like what drew you into that specific side of, you know, the human body? Because you said that you started with, you know, your biology program.
I think with that, it was more so because I was always an active individual. Playing basketball, you always want to be with somebody that's like, you know, high intensity and wants to get his body better, et cetera. So when I got into the athletic training program at FIU, there's like a bunch of different avenues, opportunities you can take, right? Where they had like the corporate health, they had working with NASA, marathon runners, like professional athletics, all this stuff. And the thing that stood out to me most wasn't just the professional aspect, was more so the active individual, whether it's like weekend warrior or whatever, or the professional athlete or everything in between, whatever it may be. So that's what kind of got me into that. Now, when I first graduated, and I started working with the NFL, with Barcelona, with NASCAR, all these people, I started off with Mendez, actually, in Coral Gables. Or
You're at MSP, right?
MSP.
Yeah, MSP. Okay. Right. So one of my good friends, he basically recruited me over there, and we started doing this whole little thing where we had like that blend of the training and we had recovery, et cetera. Mm-hmm. From there, it just kind of expanded, and I think that my mind as well expanded to what I wanted to kind of create from that. And
which we talked about.
Yeah, years ago.
I know you would always tell me that was a dream of yours to have your own, you know, practice, your own place.
And it came to fruition, you know, but
hard work pays off, man.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
consistency. It's so overlooked, I think, especially in fitness nowadays, right? Where you have, you know, all these people, whether the numbers are real or not, you know, having all these followers, getting all these views and stuff, and people think, oh, I'm just going to become a trainer. I'm just going to become, you know, a recovery specialist or whatever. I'm going to take a couple certs, and that's going to be that. You know, it's like, yeah, that's a good start.
Right, of course.
You know, but if you really want to do the things that you're doing in the field, the things that Mendez has done, myself, and so many others, like, you got to really dive headfirst into it.
Facts.
You know, you have to live it. You know, that doesn't mean just working out. That means like reading, researching, you know, trying different things out on your own before you use them with other people. And it's not easy, especially once you start, you know, talking about what you're doing now with, like, you know, brick and mortar actual facilities. I mean, a lot of overhead, a lot of other, you know, variables that you don't really expect going into it. I don't own a gym, but I've, you know, gone through the process of like trying to build them out and do the branding and all that stuff. It's not easy, man. So
no, it's not. But I think even to that regard, I think the best, I guess, blessing that we had when we were opening everything is the clientele that we had already built up, and also the people that support. You know, so even in building the facility, everybody and their moms came through and was like, yo, I'll help you pull up these floors. Hey, I got somebody over here with a discount on these the tiles, and we'll donate these glass doors for you. So it was like when you build up that repertoire with people, you're a good person, you want other people to win, they also are going to do the same, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like that reciprocated, feeling, you know?
That's hard to find in Miami, too.
Oh,
you know, authentic people who truly
you find
care.
it in Syracuse, though, for sure.
Sometimes. Where I'm from, like, north of Syracuse. I come from a real small town. So for me, it's like, you know, everyone helps everyone out. I come from a town like 1,800 people, though.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
Small
and,
like that.
And cult.
Yeah, so everything's like tight, close knit, and
yeah,
you know, I love that fact too, because I think that I guess up there you had like a strong community.
Yeah,
because everybody was like this.
Everyone helped out with everything. Right. Every community event, you know, every sporting, event that, there's always parents who are coaches or, teachers who are coaches, and those teachers would come to barbecues and stuff at your house in the summer, is very tight-knit community.
So like down here, we don't really have that.
Coach was dating your mom.
Oh, no, I don't. One time, one of my baseball coaches dated my mom one time.
Those kind of communities.
Yeah, I was good though. I wasn't just starting because he was, with her doing whatever they were doing, getting coffee, I think is what they used to call it back then. I'm gonna go get some coffee. I'm like, it's fucking 10 fucking 30 at night. What do you mean you're going to get coffee? Like, you don't even drink coffee. But I was good. Left-handed catcher, you don't see that? It's like a unicorn. Anyway. You weren't expecting this, were you? You didn't expect this. Honestly, welcome to the Sweat It Out podcast.
This is amazing. Honestly, like, I'm telling all my people about this podcast, like, today. Oh, man. But, yeah, I mean, like, honestly, like, to formulate a community down here is different because we don't have that tight-knit, like, a close-knit, hey, I got your back, you have mine, etc. So we started to build that with the brand, and that's how we started to, progress so swiftly.
And I think that's why we can all agree that, the biggest key component to anything, whether you're, in fitness, opening up any kind of business, building relationships, if you can't connect with people,
no matter.
Like you mentioned, all these people that helped you out, you build connections with them, and me going back to the MSP days, just knowing how you are as a person, how I see you interact with everybody. And there were times where when I would come back and pick up some things late at night after I was done working, you were still there working with people or talking to people, building connections, smile on your face all the time. Like good energy. And I think those are the components to be able to do successful things, that I think a lot of people don't realize that it, just bring it back down to as simply as having a smile on your face,
right.
Greeting people correctly, being human,
right.
And just having normal interactions. And, honestly, I think sometimes people make it harder than what it is. And, they're trying to force something else that's not there because they feel like, well, that's what I'm seeing, or, that's the tactic, or that's the this. And it's like, as much as, there's tactics and strategies and stuff, at the end of the day, you got to be you.
Always.
And you got to just be willing to connect, and you have to have that openness to do so. So, definitely that's one thing that I've always pointed out from you. Mm-hmm. Even from when we first connected, man, it was just that openness to want to chat, hang out, talk shit, laugh, and have a good time. So
always.
That's the key.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with it.
I think that's super important in our field, right? Like, most of our clients are super stressed out as it is, right? Especially down here in Miami, big cities like New York, LA, where you're dealing with a lot of the people that we're dealing with. It's not cheap, our services. So you have to be, somewhat affluent to be able to work with us, which is fine. But that also comes with a price, right?
Right.
So when we're talking about, bi-weekly travel schedules, or got to go out to like all these dinners where I'm not necessarily going to have all the right food choices. They come in 15 minutes late, they're freaking out on the phone, whatever, right? It's our job to make sure that we do make it a fun, welcoming environment,
mm-hmm.
right? So that they can kind of de-stress a little bit while they're in there, even though we are adding another different type of stress onto their body. So really, just by hearing, the things that you were saying, all the buy-in that you were getting, all the people that you were helping, the things that Mendez has told me in the past about you, it's just like a testament to your character, right? That you can have so many people at the drop of a hat coming to help you out, or, even, paying for your services. It really must show, the type of person and the type of professional that you are when you're considering, how our craft really can be sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you guys. And I think that's more so, that goes toward, for me, with an establishment now, one of my biggest focuses is really establishing that culture within like the environment. Because you go to different gyms and whatnot, and there's like no type of, uniformity, but also it's like you go and it's like you can tell like it's like very cold-blooded, whereas you walk into our space, which I hope you guys come by one day.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
And bring me some Syracuse stuff too. I want to.
All right, I will get you a nice Carmelo Anthony jersey.
Well, that's my guy though. I'm not gonna lie.
Listen, we were talking before.
Before you got here, and you walked in. We were talking about.
He got me so
Dwayne
triggered.
Wade,
he got
Carmelo.
me so triggered.
I was like, bro, did you know that? Dwayne Wade was like supposedly the one shooting guard that's had the most blocks on superstars, and I talked about how he packed Carmelo like 3-4 times.
Don't
He
talk.
was like, don't talk shit about.
No, you can't. Melo was like
No.
one of the smoothest
Listen,
players ever.
I told him this before.
By the way, he lost a
before you
ton of
got
weight.
here.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
he
looks
looks
great.
great.
Hoodie
Yeah.
Melo's the guy.
You know, when the best players that you ever play with are like an aging Allen Iverson and an aging Chauncey Billups. I mean, Chauncey was still balling back then
Facts.
with the Nuggets, but still old. You know, it's not.
Yeah, of
I was telling
course.
him not the Piston days. Like if those are the two, and you know, like Kenyon Martin, Birdman. You know, you talk about no need Amari Stoudemire. You know. What? It's a fact. It's not the Sundays.
Yo, all I'm saying is, Amari's still playing overseas right now, though. He's busting some chops.
But
I mean, if you're going to against some like slow Lithuanian dude, it's not going to make a big difference.
All right.
You know? Not that I'm going to be playing
Send
overseas
this
anytime
to
soon.
Amari now.
Do it. If you want to come on the podcast, we can talk about your knee problems. Maybe you should have, done some more deadlifts, hip thrusts, squat thrusts. But we'll get to that if you want to come on. No problem, Amari.
Reese will work on you back at the
facts.
facility.
Yeah.
Facts. I have some
Yeah.
people that's perfect for you.
Amari,
No.
get them knees right.
But if those are the best players that you ever play with, he gets way too much flack for that shit. I mean, listen, he's made some bad choices for sure. Probably should
And
have
he has a lot
not
of,
gone to the
Yeah.
Knicks, but
It is what it is.
is what it is.
He
I
doesn't.
think, I think a little more defense too would have helped.
Listen, he brought
A little more defense on his
Ooh,
end.
that was rough.
he's
More
a-
defense.
probably one of the best pure shooters.
No, he is.
Scores
He is.
in
He is.
NBA history.
Listen,
is.
you can't score 65 points a game for the Nuggets and play defense. Doesn't work
Facts.
like that.
No. You're not. Your wind is not the part for that.
But he could do whatever he wants in Syracuse, man. Brought a national
Don't
championship.
worry. I'll
Yeah,
get
single
you.
handedly.
I will get you.
Well, no, they had McNamara, they had Akeem Moore.
but-
In college,
Guy.
yeah, but he was still one of the best college
I'll make
freshmen.
sure to get you a Syracuse
Just bring Carmelo on. That's all I want.
Syracuse championship ring replica.
Replica? No, I
Signed
want
by
his.
Carmelo.
I want his championship ring. Buy me his championship ring.
That may not happen, but it's all good.
Well, I don't know. Things. Never mind. I'm not going to get into it.
Anywho,
Anyway.
going back to the culture.
Yeah. No, well, I kind of want to, ask you.
Yeah.
I don't really, get to talk a lot to people who also worked in collegiate and professional athletics, right? So, how was your experience, working in professional football, working in professional soccer?
Honestly, it was. I was younger, so I was 24 maybe when I was doing it. And at that point, I guess in your head, when you're that young, you're like, yo, you know what? I want to be the best possible, therapist, whatever it is. I got to go to professional athletics. But half the time, that's not really the case.
Facts.
Because you go to the professional athletics and what I experienced up there at the Colts, not saying it's a bad organization, because it's phenomenal, but like they drive you into the ground. And then when you look towards your future and you see, okay, you have these 5 heads of the department, right? And they all their marriages are kind of failing and they don't have time to their families. And so I'm like, that's not the life I want to live, So I don't think I want to pursue that path. Now, the information I got when I was up there, it was all right because it wasn't anything new, but it was more so you're applying everything you already knew in school, to practice and at a very high rate. But the only variation is that you're working with the best athletes and their bodies respond a little different than anything else, Would I go back and do it again? Probably not.
No.
No disrespect, but that's just not. After going through it, I'm like, I could have lived without it, but I also established connections, which
sure.
I wouldn't have had before. And even to this day, I work with some of the athletes I used to work with, and they come down, check me out, we hang out, have lunch and stuff. So that portion of things, I don't mind.
And you said you
But-
worked with NASCAR drivers too?
I did, yeah.
How was that?
It was
I was
cool.
comparing to
NFL to NASCAR.
Yeah.
It was wait a minute. What?
let me work on your hands and your
No,
your
they
gas
strength.
pedal
They get
foot.
after it though.
No,
man.
they do.
They get after it.
No, I heard.
it-
That's why
not
I'm
just-
interested. No, I know.
And it's not just the drivers, but it's also their pit crew as well.
Yeah,
Because a lot of their pit crew was ex-professional athletes, because they had to be very.
those tires are not light.
No.
Not light.
Yo, imagine running down. Now you got a hinge pick up, you got to rotate all these different movements, and it's quick where you can get injured as a pit driver. And the actual cockpit of a car, you got to have horse ability, et cetera. You just got to have that endurance for your body in order to sustain whatever forces you're going through. But everything else, bro,
Who's
it was
the
intense.
number one NASCAR driver you worked with?
Bro, I don't know names.
Gosh.
Yo,
Yeah, why'd you point to me?
I don't know.
Why'd you point to me like I'm gonna know?
Bro, I was at the Speedway in
watch
Homestead working
NASCAR.
with those guys. So I legit didn't know any of the guys. Or even in NFL, it was funny. When I first went, I wasn't a big football guy. So what's this guy's
Because you
name?
basketball.
Exactly. So Vinatieri,
Adam Vinatieri.
Bro,
The GOAT.
the GOAT. I called him Coach one day.
Fuck me over. Fuck me over so many times in Super Bowl bets. Just
I
like,
bet.
hell, he's gonna miss it. There's no way he can hit another one and fucking another one, another one.
Gets pissed off. So funny. But yo, Adam Vinatieri, bro. I remember I walked in the first day and I was like, "Hey, Coach, where's the locker room at?" And he was like,
God,
"Coach."
He already had those gray hairs. Now the
exactly.
Patriot days.
Yeah, dude,
been having
looked
those
like a
great
coach,
hairs,
man.
bro. That guy's like 40 something, bro.
Bro,
I think he's almost 50.
No, he's old, athletic, dude. Adam.
He's like, let me throw athletic just in case he listens
that
to
guy.
this.
No, but his kids, even so, bro, they can boot a football like, bro, 70 yards with nothing.
Bro, you'd be surprised. Some of these kickers, man, you know, and they get into fitness, bro. They're strong.
Yeah, they're the biggest.
Yeah.
I've always
There's some big ass.
I've always said the special teamers, like the true special teamers, are the biggest savages on the football team, though. Like the punter, the kicker, like those guys, they like to fucking get after it. On the field, off the field, they're like the biggest shit talkers. They always party. You know, they go ham. And I get it because like during the practice, they're just fucking sitting
chilling.
there. They're just sitting there. They're just sitting
Bodies
there.
preserved,
Yeah.
taking their time.
Yeah.
They go out for like 10 reps and that's it. It's great.
I used to always fuck with the long snapper and the kicker and the punter when I was at Q's. Always. Oh, yeah. Always. Try to get them in trouble with the coaches. Oh, yeah.
This guy has ulterior motives always. I
Yeah,
love
man.
it.
I gotta keep myself entertained.
No, facts. I feel that, man. But it was cool, man. I think all those realms were a learning curve and experience, but I wouldn't go back to it again personally, especially after establishing your own, I guess, niche or building, you know?
Yeah, that's the same thoughts that I have, from my experience. Like, it was great, learned a lot, met a lot of great people.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Right.
Well,
yeah, I would.
You did tell me yesterday Syracuse right now offered
Yeah,
you
only because I could go home, though.
that position.
Like, I haven't been around my
at
family in a long
Syracuse.
time. Yeah.
You would
I mean,
take
they'd have to pay me a good amount of money. They'd have to double what I make now, so I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, that's not in their budget.
I don't think that.
Not in their budget.
I don't think, and I don't have like 15 years under my belt as a head strength coach, so I don't think they'll consider me. I'll pass.
Love that.
So Reese, I gotta ask
Yes.
you, just because your transition, your story from where you started to where you're at now.
Mhm.
During the middle of all of this, Reese being the athletic coach, athletic trainer, fitness coach, getting into that world, practicing, liking it, enjoying it. When was that time when you were like, I need to be Reese now, the business owner or the business-minded person, and learn that side of the game? When did that happen? How did it happen? And what were some of the steps you had to take to start learning the business part of this? And who were some of your mentors?
So that's a great question. So the moment to which I realized like, hey, I need to go ahead and open my own practice or like actually like my own thing. I went to Africa on a medical missions trip in 2018.
I remember that.
It was fire.
I remember that.
Africa's the best place ever.
Where'd you go in Africa?
I went to Malawi, I went to Rongo, and then I went back to Malawi again. But that one in 2018 was in Rongo, Kenya. So on the way back, I had my little journal or whatever. I was just thinking or whatever. And, I'm like religious or whatever. So I prayed or whatever. And I was like, you know what do I want to do next? Because like up to this point, I mean, I've been pretty successful in everything, did my thing. But like I felt like there was a lid and I was trying to like bust out of it, So I just started writing things down. Like, you know what? Like, let me write this project down. I wrote the Magic City Cup, the soccer tournament I did. I don't know if you saw that.
I remember.
And then also I started working or writing down the
You can't
ideas.
forget too. You checklist that Beamer you got too.
Oh yeah. That's my
I didn't
baby.
forget that.
The hoopty.
The hoopty. Hooked it up. But and I wrote down the ideals of the complex health and wellness or whatever. So at that point when I wrote everything down, I literally wrote out step by step what I wanted to do in order to get to the next portion. And then at the end of my flight or whatever, it was like 9 hours. I was like, okay, cool. Let me try it. And then I hit my mentor up, Angel Fernandez. He owns Dice, like real estate, like propane companies. Like he's the GOAT. Like honestly, all credit to God and all credit to bringing him into my life too. And he directed me as far as the business route and what to do, like what I need to make and it bringing the numbers down, like what are your projections, like all this stuff that before I was like, yo, holy crap, like I know how to do all this stuff, but I'm down. Like I always be down to jump off a cliff and then see what happens after, and like dive headfirst into it and learn as I go. But I think we're all learning as we go, especially as young individuals to whom the generation ahead of us was a little bit different than how we think and operate now. So it's like we're almost creating our own way, and I don't mind doing that at all. But after I came back there, then I put a deck together. I had investors throw crazy money at me. honestly. And it was like, getting offered $1 million to do a whole project, and you're like, wait a minute, like that's $1 million. Like,
You were getting singles thrown at you?
who?
Singles?
I was on the poll. No, I wasn't on the poll. But yeah, they offered me a lot of money to do it, and I brought it to my mentor. He was like, no, don't do that. Like, you'll end up losing everything that way. I've seen it happen before. Listen, do what I say. Let's take our time. Let's search for a spot. How many square feet do you need? What pieces do you need to get together? Like, break all that down. So that's why it took like 1.5 years, right? Because I was like, you know what? Let me really think about it. Exactly. And just like you guys with your branding and everything, and even this whole setup, and it looks phenomenal. You guys did a great job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Same thing. It's like you curate this thing in your head, you put it on paper, and then even on that paper, you're like, wait, redo, whatever it is, and you're never truly really ready. But when you do jump, you just become ready.
I think we can definitely all agree on that. Having the right people in place and having the right mentors and putting yourself around those individuals can really change the game for you in different aspects of your life. So, and that goes back to the part of connecting. Me and Josh talking about all the time, mentors that Josh has, mentors that I have, and why you need to be around these individuals so you can keep on growing, scaling, winning, and whatever it is you want to do in life. So, the fact that you mentioned it and you spoke, highly about him, really goes to show you that, when you have that person or multiple people to guide you out of situations like that, hey, don't, it seems like a lot of money seems, big because maybe you never had that kind of money thrown your way to invest. Hey, that's not the smartest choice.
Right.
Take a look at it this way, and this is why you should do it. Having those people to really help you with those, game time decisions can really make a difference in the way things shift for you. So, for all our listeners out there, I think it's, very important that we understand that, aligning yourself to those people and finding those people and making time for those people as well. And realizing that, you need to start now to put yourself in a circle of winners.
But even so, it's funny because I get questions all the time like, yo, how did you find your mentor? And that's like, I think one of the biggest things that our generation, our age group has a problem with. They're like, yo, how do I find that community and like pick this person to guide me? And for me, it didn't come by chance, but it was more so like you said, the connection, right, in the community. So I'm big into like, yo, this person's in front of me, let me talk to them. Hey, what do you do? What's going on? How can I help you? X, Y, Z, this and that. And over time, as you establish relationships, you start realizing, okay, cool. Well, this person is phenomenal at this thing. I want to learn so much from that to get to this point, and either apply it from what they do to what I do. Because Angel has nothing to do with health and wellness at all. He's just like phenomenally in business wise and with money and whatnot. So that's my go-to for that. Now for my health and wellness thing, I have my, physical therapist, which I hit up. I ask questions, X, Y, Z. For leadership, I have another mentor. For finances, I have somebody else. So
for Syracuse, you got Josh.
Oh, facts. I'm gonna hit him up all the time. Let's watch the games.
Yeah, the
with it.
Best basketball arena not really arena. It's like a stadium in the country, by the way. But
Let's go.
I've been saying this for a long time. I think one of the most underrealized and most beneficial aspects of what we do is the people that we get to work with, right? Especially down here in Miami. Like, anytime I get a chance to talk to like some new trainer, some young trainers just getting in the field, one of the first things I tell them is like, build a solid network around you in terms of like your clientele. Once you get to a certain level, you can kind of start curating the people that you want to work with, and from there, don't just like, it's important that you teach them about health and exercise and diet, nutrition, sleep, whatever, but take some of that time in that hour you're with them, or 3 hours a week or 5 hours a week, and pick their brains on how they got successful.
Have to.
My life would not be where it is today if it weren't for, the hundreds of people that I've worked with over the past couple of years, and the things even outside of, the coaching aspect of fitness, like just life in general, right? I've learned so much from them just by learning and hearing about their experiences and in the trials and tribulations that they've gone through in order to get to where they are today, which is, obviously pretty successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm totally agree.
And I think, as a industry, the fitness industry has a long way to go to catch up to other industries in terms of like business acumen, and that would be a great way for, anyone who's listening who is a young trainer. Pick their brain. Like,
That's right.
They don't necessarily want to talk about exercise for 55 minutes three times a week. I don't want to talk about exercise for 55 minutes 3 times a week, every day with the same person. So pick their brain. Ask them what they do, why they do it. Even like little nuanced things like, okay, so you met your mentor. Okay, what was the first thing you said to him? How did you start the intro?
Right.
Okay, from there, once you made the introduction, what did you do next?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what did you do from there? Okay, you took him to dinner. Where did you guys go to dinner? And what was said at the dinner? And what, as much as I can learn about them and their processes, I know I'm going to be able to absorb at least, 5% of that.
Right.
Yeah, and be able to build off of that and try to mold and integrate some of those things into the systems that I already use.
But even with that, it's important to be very intentional about all this. But not only that, but there's like communication and there's connection, right? People know how to communicate, right? I can talk to you all day, right? But in that hour-long conversation, did I really connect with you or not, right? And the connection piece is the most vital piece that you're going to have as like a young industry professional to get you from one level to the other. And like, don't be afraid of like, giving more than you're receiving, Like there was a quote I read the other day. It was like, if you want to be in the presence of kings, like bring a gift, and like imagine that. Like I want to be in the presence of, like this amazing guy, amazing mentor, right? Or even in my business right now, like I go to a lot of hospitals, the firefighting department, all that stuff. We work with these guys. That's because I sent over a bottle of wine. Or sent over like some lunch from my mentor.
It doesn't have to be huge.
No, not at all, bro.
Those little things go a long way. I completely agree. And when you can send something to them, it's more the message of the actual gift, itself. That's what they get out of it.
Facts.
It's not the gift itself, and I think that's what makes them feel, and it shows them that you're willing to go beyond and you're willing to provide that extra level of service,
right,
to be able to continue a solid positive relationship and show them, most importantly, that you want to learn, you want to grow, you're an individual who wants to be successful. Because we can all agree here too that the same thing with our mentors, they're making time for us, and time is valuable.
Always.
So the fact that they're taking energy and time out of their day to even give you 15 minutes, 20 minutes for somebody that big is you have to take that as an important thing, because that means that they see something in you, and those people will spend time with you if they see something in you, because they know where they came from, they know what they had to do, and I'm sure they had mentors too. So if you're somebody starting off in whatever field you're in, like Reese said, be intentional as well when you talk to your mentors. Show that you're there 100%. Show your energy. Be present. Keep your eyes in tuned. Don't be distracted. Like, pay attention, because they will read it, and then they will be like, this person is not serious.
Right.
So making sure you're showing up as well as the individual to receive that mentorship is super important.
Facts.
Yeah, I hear this all the time where people talk about like, getting people to buy in, and, you got to say these things to get people to buy in. It's like, people don't buy in by the words that come out of your mouth. No. They buy in by your actions. Yes. They buy in by your consistency, by your values, by your morals.
Like, you are, man.
If I have to go help my client clean his garage out at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday, because he needs my help, like, I'm going to drop what I have to do and go do that. If I have to help you put up hurricane shutters because you're already in, New York or Boston or wherever, I'm going to go and put the hurricane shutters. And you're not going to have to question or ask me a second time if I tell you I'm going to go do it on Thursday. By Thursday night, it's going to be done.
Right.
It goes so far beyond the interactions that we have with them inside of the facility. It's like, do you invite them to dinner? They probably invite you to dinner. If you invite them one time and pay one time, even though it might be a couple $100, you're going to get them back tenfold. So it doesn't really matter. I think too many trainers, too many coaches look from that narrow viewpoint of like, okay, well, I got to make money and I got to be super healthy around them. And I have to, I have to walk this line. Like Mendez was saying earlier, I have to fit and I have to conform inside of this box that all these other people think I need to be. It's like, no, if you're just yourself, you're a good human being, you're going to attract other good human beings. And then from there, you can build those relationships out.
But I think also, like, to the standpoint of the conforming piece, I think conformity will always leave you unhappy, and you're never going to be who you are. I think people value people that can be genuine and just literally be themselves always, no matter what situation, and not like look at what other people are thinking about them. It's like, yo, do your thing, walk in your lane, and just go ahead and produce, and everything else falls into place. Like, I'll never like compromise my character for anybody else.
That's
ever.
Right.
And I don't care what you think of me, like externally, I'll tell you like who I am. I never mind doing that. But I think that in itself has gotten me to this point now. And now it's like, I can establish or build a team of leaders that we have at my facility now. Where we have 2 PTs, we have 2 physiologists, hiring another 2 PTs right now, and another physiologist, but they're all going through a system where they're developing their character as leaders and also as professionals as well. But like I went through that whole thing, so for me to go through all that up to now, I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I want you guys to experience the same like freedom and be yourselves and create a culture within the establishment and go from there. It's like, it's so much more, and make sure that whatever you're doing, like you got to have some type of purpose behind it. Like my purpose will always be to help the next person or encourage them, build them up, etc. From my employees to make sure they're always taken care of. Like don't got to pay for anything. Yep. I got you, and then my clients, same thing.
I think people sometimes forget, and I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
If you help your community and you help your employees win, you win too.
Always,
everybody
bro.
wins. But if you're only thinking about your own wins and not helping them win, especially if they're under your space, under your leadership, then don't expect to be at the top.
But that's what I think a lot of businesses do go wrong as well, where the CEO, the pyramid scheme,
always coming back, always coming full circle.
The CEO, like he's like, mad selfish or whatever, getting everything. Like I don't even let my employees call me boss. Like, I want to be here in the same level as you guys. Like, I'm Reese to you guys. That's it. Don't call me boss. Like, if you want to say we're all leaders, that's cool. Like, I'm with that. But anything besides that, where it seems to be that I'm above you guys, I don't want to hear that, because that's not what life is about. I think we all should be scaling up together and building and growing from there, and then dispersing off and doing what we want to do. Whether like your stand or what you want to do in life is, hey, I want to be a real estate agent, but I want to use this as a conduit to get there. Bro, by all means, do it. I'm supporting it. So it's always about like helping the next person, and that will in turn help you grow as well.
It sounds like you do a really great job of empowering, not to use a trigger word, but empowering, the people that work at your facility to feel like that they can be an individual and they can kind of shine their own viewpoints and their own lights into the business, right? And into what their specific role is, right? So how do you keep that balance, right? Because it's a fine balance, I'm sure, between the individuality of the people that are working for you and the pillars of value and morals that you have for the facility and the outlook that you want to continue to drive forward.
So with that, we all have a culture code that we live by, right? So I literally put a PDF that's like basically a booklet together with our values, our morals, the staff values, how we act, how we behave, how we're gonna look, like what our evaluation principles are. But like within that, like bro, like if you have something to say and you want to bring in your side piece of how an evaluation should look, let's all bring it to the team. Let's discuss it, and then we take it from there. If you think we should do it standing versus sitting, all right, why are we doing that? Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and implement it. And I also give them the autonomy to make decisions. Like I'm cool with like any one of my guys inside the space. Like if it's like a billing thing, like hey, this person is like upgrading from this point to this point. Like, should we charge them this dollar or this dollar? I'm like, hey, what do you think? If you were in my position, right? Like, what would you do? And we discuss that, but that's also allowing them to think differently to where they're going to be in a standpoint to, in essence, like run their own thing or run another conduit of that, as we go along. And every Thursday we have team meetings, right? Where we go through an educational piece, like, hey, how would we activate this portion if this person has this dysfunction? Or, hey, let's go through chapters 1 through 3 of Atomic Habits. Everybody bring their notes or whatever. What does that look like for you? And how can we apply these principles to what we have now, right? And I'm very transparent in everything. So, like, from the whole expansion piece, from like, look, like, this week, I am discussing this with the landlord. So, price per square foot, we're going to have any rent abatement? Are they going to give us any money as TI to improve the space? These are the things you got to look for when we're talking about negotiating the next piece. So when you guys are in my position, bro, you guys know exactly what you're doing. Yeah. But it's always providing value to these people and also allowing them to be themselves, but also within, not restriction. I don't want to call it that, but it's like, like.
At the end of the day, it's a business.
Right. Definitely. Always. Yeah. But I think I also hire the best people.
For sure.
So it's never that portion where it's like a left field interest. It's like, like, what are you talking about? What is this? Everybody's like same mindset. We're going together and we're doing the same, in essence, format. To keep on pursuing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
And let me just bring something up because I've been just by hearing the language and the way you're saying and speaking this out, you kind of mentioned it, for when they're ready for this one day, for when. So as a business owner, I can truly tell that, you're encouraging for your, staff employees to be able to one day have what you have or create something of their own one day. Or sometimes you might see that not happening in other places.
That scarcity
because
mindset.
they want to hold those people down to only their stuff. And, actually they make it scary for them to actually go out in the world and try to pursue something. So I really like that you speak that way and encourage your staff to want more and be able to learn and be able to, realize and see that all these different, areas that you're talking about are important. So how do you speak to them if they do bring you things up? Like, how do you educate them on that? Like, if they're telling you, hey, one day I would love to do this, I would love to do that, you being the leader, you being an owner of your business, do you spend time to answer those questions for them?
Of course.
And how do you guide them with that?
I actually have one-on-one meetings with all my guys every week. So we have 4 or 5 practitioners, and then we have 2 media guys, and we have our admin. Everybody gets one-on-one time with me, where I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like, what's going on? What's going on not only business-wise, but in your life, right? And when I hired everybody, I was like, yo, what's your end goal? Hey, you know what, bro? I want to be able to own and run something. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, guess what? You're going to have that opportunity, right? Like, don't worry about anything as far as, like, taking videos, all that stuff. I'm taking care of that. Benefits, I'll take care of that. Like, what do you think you want to be paid at the end of the day? Cool. All right, let's do these numbers, right? If somebody comes to me and says, as an employee, like, yo, I want to be paid $200,000, right? I'm like, okay, cool. Let's write this down. Cool. So you want to be paid $200,000, okay? And I don't mind paying you $200,000 if it makes sense, right? Or if we have the capacity to do so and we have to grow, right? But if it becomes like, yo, I'll be paying you in the red, like, bro, my guy, like, let's just be real about it. Yeah. But I tell all my people, just like normal people, so, hey, you come to me, you say $200,000. I'm like, okay, cool. What are you bringing in? Okay, you're on track to do about 120, right? Does that make sense? Me paying you $200,000, you're bringing in 120K, and also consider the fact that we're also doing all your media marketing. Like, you literally have nothing to worry about but to build, work, grow yourself, and grow the business. But even in that regards, hey, end goal is, bro, like, I don't see you working on somebody for 5 years and beyond. Because realistically speaking, you're going to get burned out, like, facts. Or if you want to grow, you're going to want to do something else beyond that. So my thing is, like, look, I want you guys to be able to run an establishment, whether it's with us or by yourself, but I'm going to provide you with everything you need in order to do so. But when you do that, you're literally producing brand loyalty, because at the end of the day, all my guys, they get offered positions, like, every week, legit. Like, I mean, like, yo, they call them like, hey, we have a position for you, we'll pay you, you know what I'm saying, like 150K, whatever it is, and they're always like, no.
Nah.
They're like, literally, no. They're like, look, like, what I have here is somebody that cares about them. We also have teamwork, team development. I'm learning not only business, but I'm also learning about my training or my physical therapy, but also as a person, I'm getting better. Like, that's like everything you need as far as like you being successful in life, that you want to be in one spot. So nobody ever wants to leave. Like, my employees don't want to leave, or my people don't want to leave ever, because legit, like, they're in a great space, great environment, and we're working together to build and grow. But at the point where, hey, we're expanding, which I keep my word. So, like, initially, I'll be very transparent. Like, COVID hit, and mind you, COVID hit when we were building everything, right?
And
so
I was going to ask you that as one of the following questions. How was that, mindset-wise?
If the thing is, like, if you're leading a charge, you can't be like, holy crap, COVID hit.
Oh,
like,
my
I'm
God.
broken.
Oh, my God. We're all fucked. We're all fucked.
You cannot do that.
The house is on fire.
Yeah,
No,
put the fire out, bro.
Corre.
So it's like, look,
Problems,
like,
you got to solve them.
you have this issue, right? Okay, cool. I didn't pay myself until like 2 weeks ago. I want to make sure everybody else got paid. You know what I'm saying? Got paid the salary that they wanted. And mind you, again, that's like you coming to me and saying, yo, I want 70K. All right, let's write this out. Cool, I got you. I can pay. Like, if we want to do, and I'm very transparent, right? So if we want to do 60% profit every year, everything Twitch we put out needs to have a 60% profit on top of it. Whereas you are hired, right? And if you're bringing in 300K, I can pay you up to 40% of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's like solid, because again, you're not worrying about taxes. You're not worried about benefits. You have benefits. Go see your doctor. Whatever you want to do. You don't worry about anything, bro. Just come. I'll take care of you. That's good. You know what I'm saying? So within that, it's like they were literally okay with, hey, I need to give you guys a pay cut right now. Give me 2 months and I got you full salary. And literally 2 months hit. I was like, yo, bro, come here. Sign this paper. Full salary. That's what you wanted. All right, let's get it. Hey, come here. Come in this meeting. Full salary. That's what you wanted. Good. And bro, like, my people are like, it's awesome, because I've always wanted to be somebody that was able to give freedom to other people and let them see more about themselves.
That's amazing.
But for them to come back and like have people like, yo, thank you so much. Like I had one girl cry the other day because she finally got benefits for her and her spouse and stuff. Like that stuff makes me go. I'm like, bro,
For sure.
everybody's gonna be good. Wherever I go, I guarantee
Everybody's winning.
Everybody's gonna win.
But look, don't lie. You're throwing a little massage or a little tissue work in there for that.
You have
every
to,
once in
bro.
a while.
Rub everybody's back. You know, but being able to do that stuff is kind of what gets me going. And I think they value that a lot more where they're like, yo, like Reese, one, holds his word. He holds me down. Whatever I need, if I can do it, like, yo, I'll do it. Like, no pressure.
For sure.
If I can't, like, hey, let's revamp. Let's see what we can get towards. And they know they have a future where it's like, yo, like, I, of course, want to open more locations, but I don't want 55. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, one here, cool. Can we go expand over here? Let's look at the demographics. Let's go through this whole process that I went through, and you guys make the decision. What makes sense? You know what I'm saying? But you're empowering everybody else to have their own choice within a framework, but also get into ownership along the way where they'll end up being financially free, take care of their bills, whatever they need, and they're living a great life.
All right, so who wants to come work for Reese?
You're funny. I love you.
I think it's important that, you know, you put so much emphasis on the value of others, though, right? Because, you know, we've all experienced working for other organizations where that wasn't the case, right? It was more of a churn and burn. Yeah. You're a pawn. Right. You know, you're here to make us a shit ton of money. And, you know, if you make us an enormous amount of money, then we'll pay you relatively well. But it's still going to be horseshit compared to what the value that you're actually bringing in is. So, you know, you're starting to kind of see a lot more facilities kind of take that model, right? Where they say like, okay, listen, we're gonna help you with your benefits because, you know, healthcare in America is insane.
Facts.
Insane. You know, we're gonna help you with the content creation because most people are clueless when it comes to that.
Right.
That's right.
You know, still shooting off like, you know, an iPhone 8 or whatever. Which, you know, if you're shooting off an iPhone 8, better than not shooting at all.
iPhone 6.
A flip phone, you know, a little razor, or like the one with the speaker in the middle.
Yeah,
remember
bro,
that
That
one?
was a good one. The Sidekick was fire too.
Yeah.
I was doing this.
My sister's 20. She has no fucking
no
clue what
idea.
we're talking
No
about. No
clue.
clue. She's like, what? What do you mean iPhone 8? Like, I just have you mean like the really large one? No. When we had them, it's still like the click wheel.
Yeah, right? Or the Zoom.
I don't even think people have iPhone 8s anymore. Look, my like Jenny's mom lives here and in Cuba, and she has the newest iPhone. and her family who lives in Cuba have like at least the iPhone 10s.
Wow. That's crazy.
I don't think we have that issue anymore.
You know, but taking a lot of that pressure off of people so that you can allow them to grow within the business and within the field that they're in, you know, is something that I think is super important. The same type of conversations Anthony and I have had about the podcast. You know, it's like, okay, eventually we're going to get to a spot where we can't do as much of the stuff as we're doing now, or we don't want to.
That's going to come soon for you too.
Hopefully. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for the confidence. You know, we said the same thing. Like, you know, there are people that are helping us out right now, and we want to make sure that they understand that the value that they've already given us, you know, and the value that they'll continue to give us and continue to grow into, and to allow them to be compensated appropriately for that. Right. You know, I think the scarcity mindset is starting to kind of exit the fitness industry and you know, exit a majority of industries. Still, obviously, you have some conglomerates like Amazon and shit that are gonna,
course,
you know, take because they can, and you don't have any other choice. But for smaller, you know, operations, it's really important that you invest into the people that work for you, because it does come back into the business and it does help, you know, bring more value to the people that you even service. You know, it probably hasn't been an easy road for you, but how kind of have you navigated those waters in order to kind of get to this place now mentally where you're at, where you can be comfortable enough with yourself to say, listen, like, I need to take care of you in order to take care of myself. It's not an easy thing to do. You have to really check your ego at the door for something like that.
I mean, for me, I grew up in a rough situation, so it's like, I think my past has prepared me for where I'm at today, to be honest. But beyond that, like, I just have a lot of faith. And again, like, you know me, bro, I put God with everything and put him first in everything I do. So for me, more so, like, I know I'm always going to be taken care of, regardless of the fact, because I've always been taken care of. So it's easy for me to be like, yo, I got you, and I know I'm going to be good, you know? So I think that's quick and short and simple of an answer that I had today, but yeah, it is what it is, man.
No, and I think we can all agree that, you know, how anybody wants to take it, you know, whether you believe in God, the universe, however you want to take it. You know, I always say God as well. I believe in God. So I think we all know too that it takes an effort, you know, when, you know, hey, God's gonna take care of me as long as I keep moving forward, as long as I keep putting
Don't
effort.
sit on your butt.
Exactly. You know,
Yeah,
as
that's one
long as
thing
I keep putting in that work, He's gonna sprinkle some little treats in here for me and make sure that I'm doing all right. So, you know, it's like I tell people all the time, you can't also just wait, you know, or you know, if you believe in things or you have faith, you have this, it's great to have all that faith and believe, but if you don't do anything with it, then you ain't gonna do shit.
Right.
You know, so you're only gonna be rewarded for the work that you put in and the time you put in.
Yeah, hard work always, man. Always hard work. Agreed.
We're almost at an hour here. I know Menda's going to have a couple more questions for you.
Cool.
But before he does that, do you want to let everyone know where they can find you on Instagram, social media, anything you got, you know, where your location's at?
Do not look.
No, look for him.
So again, the facility is at 5829 Southwest 73rd Street in South Miami, Florida. You can find me on Instagram at Reese Whitely and also at We Are Complex MIA. Shoot us a DM, like our photos, anything in between. We might give you something for free too.
Hey,
and
if it's free, it's for me, man. If it's free, it's for me. That's my motto.
Whatever you need.
I know you also mentioned when we were walking into the room that you were looking to hire somebody.
Yes, I am.
So what are you looking for?
I'm looking for a female physical therapist and also a female physiologist or trainer. So if you know any good ones, really good ones.
Or it might be you listening.
Or facts. Or it might be you. Come by, let me know, shoot me a message or call the office phone, and we'll definitely get you in for an interview and see what we can do.
Awesome. Thank you for coming in before he asks you the last couple questions. I know he's got a couple big ones for you. So
always got questions. All right. Actually, I got 3.
I'm single, yes. I'm kidding.
Hey, you heard it. You heard it. He's told you to slide in the DMs.
So, guys, 2 female workers, and he's single.
Right,
but you didn't. You
can't
dip
the paint stick in.
I'm just saying.
What?
I like diversity. I want to diversify my culture.
No. I was just gonna say. You said you needed 2 female workers, but you didn't mention the gender of what you were looking for.
What? Female, gender. All right. Well, this is 2020, I guess, right? So we don't.
I had to throw it in there.
I love you. Next question.
I'm so confused.
All right.
I'm so confused.
Hey, delete that whole portion. I don't know what just happened, but it's all good.
All right. So, what is, based on your whole life experience, doesn't matter whatever moment in your life, in your field, what was the craziest and wild shit that you ever experienced or saw?
Oh, really?
Adventary squads.
Huge. They're pumped. Dude, honestly, I think the craziest and wildest thing I ever saw. Well, I think from an injury standpoint, I've seen a patellar tendon rupture, which was sickening. The guy's running full speed and about to cut back, so he plants, and all of a sudden the kneecap literally pops up towards his hip, and he collapses. And I have never seen a grown man cry.
So you were right there.
I was right there. I was right there. It was awesome seeing, but I knew
it was awesome seeing.
Dude, like when you're in the sports medicine, you're like, holy crap, that just happened.
It's go time.
You know, and the other thing for my tournament, the Magic City Cup, which I don't think you know about.
No. So this was soccer.
Yeah. So the Magic City Cup is like a citywide like World Cup, right? So we had like over 16 countries represented. Like it was like 200 players came through last year, and we gave away $10,000 as a winner.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
It was fire. So fire. So we had Bacardi sponsor, Nike, Bezasur, all these people. But anyway, so we're at the cup, right? In the last game, the guy's been playing all day, bro. So whatever, he hits the winning goal, like 3 seconds left. We have it on camera on the page too. He hits the goal or whatever, runs over, he screams, takes his shirt off. Ronaldo, like, you know, just like crushes it. And all of a sudden his body just like freezes. And I'm like, oh, he's going through it. Don't do it. Oh, he drops, collapses. Bro, full body cramp. I've never, I don't know if you guys ever seen a full body cramp before.
No.
Dude, like it starts from your toes, goes to your shins, goes to your quads, gets past the hip, like your whole core locks up, your arms lock up, and it gets up to here.
He was that dehydrated?
Bro, that dehydrated. Because we did, so what we messed up at was we had the games like 2 20-minute halves, and he played like 8 games that day, bro.
Woof.
Yeah, and
he still hit the winning goal.
And he hit for $10K. Like he was like, I'm gonna get this.
I'm gonna drill
Savage.
it.
Bro, we had to call the ambulance out there. I threw like bags of ice on him, like everything possible. And bro, like this guy was so appreciative after. He was like, "You saved my life," and I was like, I was like, Jack, no,
Jesus.
no, Jack, don't let go. No, but those are the 2 craziest things I've seen like on field.
Wow.
So it's
That's
pretty cool.
crazy.
That's epic.
But that
Yeah.
patellar tendon. Oh,
Bro, yeah,
I mean, I've seen
Did
some
you he-
people.
did you
I've seen
hear
some
it?
people
Did
get
you-
rocked.
You
you
get
actually
pop.
you
Yeah.
heard it? Okay.
that
Damn.
ACL you usually hear pop
Yeah,
too
that's why.
sometimes.
Yeah,
Like,
I've seen some knees just go like wishbones before.
Oh, yeah,
And,
that's
I
disgusting.
mean, I've definitely seen my fair share of CTE happen, just like
oh yeah, facts.
full knockouts.
Yeah,
you
and that's
know,
not
but-
cool.
No, the worst
No,
I saw
that's-
was in high school. One guy, literally, this lineman fell on the running back's leg, and his leg just
Snapped.
went boop back,
Yeah.
and then the bone just came out.
Yep, that makes sense.
Poof.
Yeah,
That
I'm
was
not
bad.
a football player. Nah, no
Yeah,
chance.
yeah, that was bad. Last question.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up on a high note. I always ask this. What is the one biggest piece of advice? Doesn't matter what it is, anything in life that you want to leave off to all our listeners and our audience today.
The biggest piece of advice. That's a good one. I got a bunch in a bag.
Rip them off.
Rip them all. Give them the least of them. Got you.
Don't give them number 10. Or maybe give them number 10.
I'm gonna give them the very end. I'm not gonna give you the top one because you got to come to the space to get the top one. Okay.
Oh,
But-
I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I'll give you. You got to reel you in a little bit. But I text my guys this morning. So every morning I text the team like something encouraging, right? Whether it's like Thankful Thursdays or Motivation Monday, whatever it is, just like get them in a high spirit. But this morning I told them like, yo, look, like first of all, I'm grateful for all you guys, but whatever you think you are is what you're gonna become, right? So like if you think you're phenomenal at what you do, you're gonna become phenomenal at that. If you think you're less than, you're gonna be less than. So it's always important to think like you already are that person, so that basically everything else works up towards it. So that's my biggest piece of advice, I guess. And also just to have faith, like just do it, like legit. Like the minute you step outside your comfort zone, you're gonna grow. You figure it out. You literally figure it out. Things come in fruition, and basically everything you need kind of works together to make yourself successful.
So you guys heard it. Whatever you think, you will become.
Facts.
And have faith.
Appreciate
Yo,
you
brother.
coming in, man. Thanks a lot.
problem, dude.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you for having
dude.
me.
Much love,
Love
brother.
you guys a lot. Come by the space.
We will.